This is going to be like a movie or a book or something. So I can't give you all the goods, but I can give you a lot of it. Hey guys, it's HOPEsaidit back with another HOPEsaidit Uncut video for you. It has been a month and a half or something since I last left you with the video. But what I tell you, life got running and gunning. I'm going to catch you guys up because, I mean, I do these videos weekly. So I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, but there was no way I could squeeze in a video during that time. First of all, let me just say that 2020 has been something else, okay? We lost Kobe. We lost some great activists. We lost Chadwick Boseman recently, and for me the greatest loss of 2020 was my father. So I think my second latest video talked about losing my father, the grieving process in there, and then, you know, after that it was planning for his funeral, and I did not foresee how not strenuous, laborious, I guess, hello SAT, that process would be. It was just, you know, it's out of country, it's in Nigeria, so it was kind of learning the laws for there, what we can do, what we can't do. You can't have the funeral more than 2 months after he died, so we set it to exactly 2 months, so we had enough time. He died June 7th. His funeral was August 7th. So there's a lot of things we needed to take care of before then. We knew that our Nigerian passport was expired. And because of the coronavirus outbreak, they were not accepting renewals. They weren't giving new passports. All they were doing was issuing emergency emergency passports and then emergency travel certificates, something like that. Either way, it had to be emergency only, okay? So I worked on, you know, writing a letter for all four of us. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and we were all going to go. I worked on writing a letter for it, sending it to the embassy, and the travel itinerary, 2 passport page, like whatever they needed, we shipped it out there so we can get an emergency travel certificate, just so we can go into the country. They go ahead and confiscate that document that allowed us to come, and then we head back. Cool? Okay. So I forgot to tell you that Nigerian international flights were closed since March. The airways were just closed, but we weren't too worried about it because my dad died in June. And we were like, you know, how many months are they going to keep it closed? The Nigerian economy needs it. They're going to open soon, especially by our August 1st flight. So we were okay because we were like, our airline allowed us to still buy the flight, right? We had our tickets, we had our ETC, we were good to go. Nigerian domestic flights had opened around July 8th or something like that. And so we were thinking our flight is until August 1st, give it 2-3 weeks and they'll open international flights. Well, by July 21st or 22nd or so, I get an email like at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning from the airline saying a leg of the flight from Germany to Nigeria, because that's where it was going from Texas to Germany to Nigeria. That leg of the flight was canceled. So I texted in our, you know, sibling group chat. I texted it. I said, here's the deal. Like, here's what happened. Our leg is canceled. So I don't know. We were like, okay, it's canceled, but we'll just go to Germany, right? We'll at least do one leg of the flight and just wait for something to open, because surely international flights will open by August. You know, domestic is already running. We'll do something. It's so weird, you know, people, friends, and how's their journey gonna go? And you're just thinking, okay, it's gonna go well, right? We never thought we're not going. We were just like, how? But we're gonna keep walking. We packed in everything because we knew we were going somewhere. So my brother and sister and I, we went to the airport as usual. My other brother lives in Kansas City, so he did his thing there. But we went to the airport and we went to the counter and they just said, you know, oh, we don't see this flight. And so we were kind of like, yeah, but it goes to Germany, so can we just go to Germany and wait? Well, I don't even know if you can do that normally, but especially with this coronavirus stuff, Germany was not taking like Americans willy-nilly. Like, you had to come with business, like for transient, for something, you know, something. And we didn't have a final destination. So they were like, oh no. So we were just in the airport just waiting. And obviously we get a call from our brother in Kansas City and he suffered the same fate. And so I just said, hey, why don't you come to Texas? And he was like, what was in Texas? Hello, us. So he was on his way from Kansas City to Texas, and we, the rest of us, were just in the airport. Like, what are we gonna do? What are our next moves? Coincidentally, because God is amazing, there is an evacuation flight that was scheduled for that same day. So there's a whole bunch of Nigerians trying to go back to Lagos, and there's a one-way flight, an evacuation flight that's happening. So while we see this huge crowd trying to get to the destination we want to go to, we're just sitting there and we're like, okay, what are we supposed to be doing? I feel like God brought two tests to us that we had to do in the middle of our struggle. The first one was that, the people who were going on the evacuation flight to Nigeria, we were actually sitting by one of the women. She was an elderly woman, and she had an even elderly father who was in a wheelchair, and they had luggage for real. So she was kind of like, hey, can you watch the luggage while we get a wheelchair? And I think my sister kind of went up that and said, I'll just bring let me take your luggage to where you need to go. And so she did that. We watched the luggage, but then eventually my sister was just like, hey, let me just help you. And so she did that. And that's, people could say, okay, you helped, whatever. I'm not saying we were superheroes. I'm just saying we were still mindful of being kind and helping others in that situation. So she did that. But then God threw us a whammy. Okay. We were like, okay, let's get a hotel. Let's regroup. My other brother's coming down. We'll really know what to do. I can't make this up, and I can't even portray this correctly. We were at the bus shuttle. The doors open. A lady walks out as slow as can be. Think of the slowest someone could move, and it's ×5. I mean, it's like Zootopia. That sloth that's in Zootopia, faster than her. It took her like 5 whole minutes, 5 minutes now, to get down from the bus, to walk down the 5 minutes just to get off the bus, okay? So she gets off the bus, and you can read more about this at HOPEsaidit.com. This is an international airport we're at. I promise you, it's almost like we magically look around and no one is there but us and this lady. So then she finally kind of calls me. She's like, excuse me, do you know where's my flight? Obviously, I know you're going to Nigeria. You're probably on this evacuation flight. But what you have to understand is her terminal is like on the other side of the airport. She was dropped off at the wrong terminal. And her speed, it's going to take her 35 minutes. It will take us 7 to 10 minutes. It will easily take her 35. And we're like, we are trying to chill. We are trying to regroup, ma'am. You are messing up this plan. Long story short, because this is not what you can read the whole thing at HOPEsaidit.com. But me and my brother finally, get her a trolley, get her to her destination. It took forever. But I learned a lot about her. She was a nice woman. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing against her. It was just in my state. I was like, what? But the lesson we learned is that, even if you're trying to get to somewhere, even if you're struggling, even if you need help, you can help others. And just don't lose sight of when others need your help. Because I feel like if we were frustrated, if we were so caught up in us, we would have been like, listen, I don't know, just bye. So I just feel like we were entertaining angels and didn't know it. Because I don't know, that it was just very timely how everything happened. So what seemed like an hour later, we actually were done with her. And then we come back, we take the shuttle to a hotel, blah, blah. And our brother from Kansas City eventually meets us there. And we're just like, we got to pray, guys. We don't know what to do. International flights have not opened. So we're praying for international flights to open. We're praying for guidance. We're praying for wisdom. We don't know. So we're like, well, let's look up what we can do. We can fly into different neighboring countries. And my uncle, amazing uncle who lives in Maryland, he's kind of letting us know oh, don't do this and don't do that and blah, blah. He was supposed to go with us as well. But international flights were closed. So we're kind of thinking of ideas. We can fly into here, to here, to here. And almost every way we can think of, there is a roadblock. Or every way we can think of, someone was like, well, that's dangerous. They have this and kidnapping and terrorism. And it's so funny because in our state of mind, we were like, terrorism, how? We weren't necessarily scared of it. We were just like, so what do you mean? We stay in Texas Friday, Saturday. On Saturday, we actually, look up different ways. And we were like, well, even if we can go to a neighboring country, we don't have a passport. Our ETC, our emergency travel certificate, says Nigeria. We can't go through another country because our Nigerian passport is expired. So we're looking at ways like, do these countries have e-visas? Can you do something? And with our experience in America, we were like, well, this is going to take forever. Either way, we have like hours, days, that we can do this. My brother just run of the mill just says, you know what, I'm applying for this e-visa. And we're just thinking, hey, just throw it out there. No lie, within 2 minutes of when he sent in his application, he got it. So we all rushed to get the e-visa too, and then look for ways, look for different flights to get to there. All of the flights we saw were leaving from New Jersey. So we were like, well, we got to get positioned to where we need to be. We need to get ready to go. Like, all our bags were packed. We never unpacked. We're living out of our bags. But we saw that. We got approved. We said, you know what? We don't know what to do yet. But I know that whatever we need to do, we need to be in New Jersey because we just need to run and go. So by Sunday, we go to New Jersey. That was probably the most trying time of the trip because, mind you, we're supposed to leave on the 1st. First passes, second passes, we're on the 3rd. We land there and we're like, so what's the plan? What's the move? We had to think about, God didn't bring us this far for no reason, So you have to remind yourselves of all the things that happened and worked out to get to this point, like the emergency travel certificate. My sister's was actually got there a week late, and then she still got it around the same time as us. And then my brother completely forgot to send his paid return envelope. So we were like, oh my, really? But then miraculously, the, embassy person just sent his stuff with my other brothers. So my other brother just got both of them. I don't think you usually just do that. So we were like, God, that happened. We needed a yellow fever card, and a lot of places don't really do that. And if they don't do it quickly either way. So we hurried up, got an appointment, and, did it in one of the only places in our area you could do it. And we were in and out. So we were just like, you know what? I like closed doors, and God knows this about me. If something's not supposed to happen, just close it. Like, don't let me get to step 5 and then say, oops, just close it. Don't let me even deal with it. So everything kept opening. And another crucial part is that my brother, even before this trip stuff happened, around the time our flight was canceled or gonna be canceled, he had told us, hey, I had a dream and it was Dad and he was talking to me. And he explained what, my dad said or whatever. It was just about some family situation. And then he was saying, but I was on a plane. So I was on a plane. And so I was like, okay, that's a sign, right? For me, though, what I kept thinking in New Jersey, and I had a very vivid vision. I just saw my mom being shocked that we were there. Because my mom was there too, My dad died in Nigeria. My mom was there by his side. And I just saw a vision of like, no, but Mom's gonna like be so happy, like, oh my gosh, when she sees us. And I kept on seeing this, like her reaction, but it's so crazy because it's like, yeah, that's what I see, but here's my situation. So we were in New Jersey and we were like, okay, we know we can get to this next neighboring country. What are we gonna do after there? Because there are, stories about how dangerous the borders are. Like I said, kidnapping, terrorism, whatever else. Thank God for 24-hour refunds for sites, that book flights through different agencies, because we were like booking and canceling like it was nobody's business. So we were like, hey, this flight, and we don't have a way to get through. We were crazy. We were looking through like charter flights at some point, and they were mad expensive. So, we had to come back down to earth and say, hey guys, this is not good stewardship of God's money. So we can't do this. Okay, let's try another way. So it was just frustrating that every way you can think of, it wasn't going through. So Sunday happens, Monday happens. Now at this time, Monday's like what? First, second, third, for like the 4th, okay? At this time, we said, guys, tomorrow is the absolute last day, because we're scheduling like 2 days to travel, and get to the destination. Because even when you get to the country, it's going to take forever to get to the village that my mom's in. So we were like, tomorrow is the absolute last day that we can even leave, that like, if we get a flight for Thursday, it's too late. My dad's funeral is on Friday. Tuesday definitely was rough. When you really try to think and research and, strategize, your brain is just draining, you know? I just never experienced such brain fatigue in my life. So I think at that time we were like, you know what, just get your mind off of it. Play games on your phone, watch TV, whatever the case may be. And then also at this time, we're not taking calls from people like that, because even my mom, she's calling and what's the status? And we're like, oh, we're coming, don't you worry. And she's, go home. Would y'all stop gallivanting around the U.S. and go home? You're going to Tennessee. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you don't even have the cities correct. And then second of all, you're very much trying to discourage us. She was worried is all that was. I think she wanted us there, but she also didn't want us to do something crazy to get to her. Too late. 3 o'clock on Tuesday, my relative called. He's saying, you know, what are you guys doing? And we're like, you know, hotel waiting for what exactly? A miracle at this point. I mean, to be completely honest, we're just waiting, but we know something got to give. And then he said, let me call you guys back. He calls us back, basically says like, okay, he has a group together that could help us get to our destination. And I was like, yeah. I knew the journey wasn't going to be easy. It's a whole movie and book, y'all. It's a whole movie and book, because I can't even do it justice by talking, and I don't even want to begin. It was like 3, and we're like, well, we got to book crap. The flight's tonight. Hello, we were already in the destination we needed to be in, so it's not a problem. It was across the street. If we were staying and waiting, it would have been a problem. We would have missed it. But anyway, I'm not about to preach to y'all. I mean, it was a long journey. Coming and going took legit 2 days. We were drained. And I'm just going to skip ahead because this is going to be long if I don't, because I want to explain the funeral and everything. So we got to our destination. It was a long but we were, like I said, 2 days travel legit. We get there Thursday night. Mind you, my mom doesn't know that we're coming. So we get there Thursday night. The funeral is Friday morning. So we pull up, and everybody's kind of just looking at us, and then they realize who it is, and they're just yelling. Because apparently my mom already spread around that, oh, my kids can't make it, and this and that. Oh, they are screaming. You know, I see my mom, tears, obviously. She's like, oh my gosh, you guys are all here. The vision that I saw. So I was like, this is it. When I tell you I was so in awe of God, because I was like, man, you kept this vision in my head and you kept on letting it happen. You know, you kept it very vivid in my head, even though everything else was going on. Seeing it come together, when I tell you, it's not even a full circle experience. It's almost like, you can't even explain it. All you can do is praise God. It was very emotional, because it was, you know, draining kind of getting there. I mean, physically draining, but then emotionally draining, just being like the different emotions you have to go through. But when I tell you it was so worth it, just embracing my mom and being able to be part of my dad's funeral, amazing. That funeral was off the chain. We had the time of our lives. My dad had a great celebration of life. I would not redo anything. We had fun. We got to see our family and honor our dad and honor our mom, and it was just great. It was a lot of culture and traditions. It was definitely a celebration of life, do not get me wrong. But there's something about just seeing his body go down in the ground. I was like, wow. So that's it, huh? Like, you knew he was gone, but like putting him in the ground is just different. You're just like, oh, so you're legit gonna be buried now? I'm like, what? But he went out like a champ, and I'm so grateful that I was able to be part of that. And I don't know, it was just very emotional. Like, when I tell you this last month and a half-ish, emotional roller coaster, from happy to sad to angry to disappointed to joyous to, listen, so the funeral's done. Cool. I mean, it was an all-out thing. Like, we woke up very early. My sister and brother were the earliest. They had to go to the mortuary and everything. But, like, it started for them around 5. We didn't finish around, like, 5 or 6 p.m. Like, and people were still just there. And it's kind of like you just have to bow out and say, okay, well, lock up when you're done. We came in on Thursday. Friday was that all-day funeral. Saturday were kind of lingerers and, just, whatever. Sunday was church service, and then we went back to where my mom lives. Monday, we were kind of gathering ourselves together, making sure our mom has what she needs. Tuesday, we were out. Usually people go to Nigeria, they stay 2 weeks. Our bodies were in shock. We didn't know what time it was, what country we were in. Like, it's crazy how fast of a turnaround in it. We stayed in Nigeria for less than a week, okay, and headed back. And each time it took 2 days to get there. So it was crazy. So we headed back like the same way we came in. And it's just, I don't know, it's just stressful on the mind and body, and just, it's just a lot going by road, because everywhere takes forever. If you don't have a plane, everywhere takes forever. Like, you go from here to here and it's 6 hours, here to here, 9 hours. This flight is 1 hour, and then you go, like, it's just, it was long. And the same way we came is the same way we kind of left, except for, the flights when you got to the neighboring country. Instead of kind of the direct shot we had coming, you had to go to this country and then this country. I don't know where we were in Europe. I'd never been so happy to just be home. I missed my kids. I missed my husband. I missed my bed. I'm up there just roaming around like a nomad. We landed back in like DC or something. You have a powerful praise if all you can think of when you're trying to thank God is a hymn. I'm up here trying to be cool with my praise, and I was like, then sings my soul. I couldn't even think of something cool. I was like, can I get a Kirk Franklin praise or something? Can I get some cool African song or something? I went back to the old rugged cross. I was so happy to be back, and just for that to be over and for it to be a great success. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted my dad's legacy to be that, yes, he died, but he didn't die in vain. His children are his legacy, and hopefully we don't disrespect that in any way. And that's all it is. And God got the glory, and that's what we were praying on anyway. This trip was literally one leg at a time. Like I said, there's gonna be like a book or a movie. It has to be, okay? It has to be. But I want to give you the takeaways I learned along the way. And the reason I'm saying this story, I'm not saying the story because I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I'm saying this because there's a lesson to learn. I think that if you want something, you have to, yes, pray, but you also have to move. You have to have faith and walk by faith. If we were stuck in our, destination in Texas, we would have no way we could have made that flight to New Jersey so quick. We were where we needed to be so that when we were called, we could go. So just position yourselves accordingly. Second, don't lose the faith. Don't lose the faith. And if you have to get yourself away from people, just make sure you're surrounded by people who have the faith as you. Because really, and we were talking about this later, my siblings and I, maybe if we would have did this trip alone, we would have said, okay, never mind. Because like I said, my dad's funeral was going to be live streamed, but God forbid. Hey, homie. Hey, no, I'm not doing a live stream on my dad's funeral. I'm going to be there in person. So I think just encouraging each other is what we had, and just making sure that everybody else is blocked out was important as well. 3, it's not going to be easy. Just because you have a vision in your head, just because God gave you a dream doesn't mean that it's just going to, and then the heavens open up. It was not easy every step of the way, but I kept on thinking, listen, Lord, just get us through it. I don't care how tired I was. Get me through it. So no, even if you pray for something, yes, you might get it if the Lord says the same. It's just that don't expect it to just be an easy, straight path all the time. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of how that happened and maybe encourage you guys. It's so funny because thinking about it, I'm like, my dad really wouldn't have went out any other way. My faith has been exponentially grown, because I needed that personal experience for myself, and I thank God for giving me that experience. And also I think it happened because, my dad was like, I want y'all to be close. I want y'all to have this last hurrah together. It grew our relationship like no other. Like, we were close, but when I tell you, there's no way. We are too tight, okay? We were tight before. We are thick as freaking thieves times 10 now, and I think that's what my dad would have wanted too. It was a great experience. We learned a lot. We experienced a lot, and I hope it blessed you. Man, that's all I can say is man. I know you have questions, but when I tell you even when I'm trying to explain it, if I sat down, even when we try to sit down and explain everything to somebody, it takes an hour or an hour and 30, and I didn't even scratch the surface, you know? So there's no point of even trying, because I'm not going to do it any justice. So I said, you know what? There has to be a book or movie or something. But just know that with God, all things are possible. And wow, we were able to go, and we were able to come back, and God got all the glory. And that's all we wanted. Guys, thank you so much. Just be sure to check out HOPEsaidit.com. I post a new blog every Tuesday. My videos come out on Friday, usually. Either way, it's once a week, trust me. And then you can follow me on HOPEsaidit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you need to email me for any reason, it's hopesaidit@gmail.com. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any other questions. I'm sure you do, and I don't even know if I can answer them at this point, but you guys have a great day. It's great to be back, and I'll be with you guys next week with another topic. Bye.